Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk, and I am an integrative health practitioner. I help people discover root cause of their symptoms. It's a combination of traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, ancient Indian medicine, and nutrition. And we get to the root cause of what's happening. And instead of just slapping a band aid on a symptom, we figure out through functional lab testing where your imbalances are, where your excesses are, and remove them with natural protocols, nothing synthetic, no chemicals. So if you have been watching for a while, you know I talk about gut health all the time. I talk about the gut-brain connection, how important it is for these two organs to be talking to each other and working together. And I talk a lot about managing what we put into our body. And so today, since it's kind of the end of the summer, I know I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. A lot of our kids have gone back to school. I think all over the country, it's kind of August, the end of August, is the end of summer. So for those who have worked really, really hard on getting their summer body, let's now focus on your 70, 80-year-old body. Let's take a look at what we can do to help our longevity, not necessarily have to every January start focusing on our summer body, but let's focus on the things we can do now to keep our bodies balanced. In my field, we call it homeostasis, which means balanced. If you have a balanced body, that means it's free of disease. And I talk a lot about longevity because literally what we do today is going to affect us in 20 years. And we tend to go through life just kind of ignoring different signs that our body's giving us until we can't ignore them anymore. And that's when the trouble happens. So let's dive in. We are going to talk about detoxing, how we can support our detox. Our liver is our main detox organ. It's literally working 24 hours a day to filter your blood. I don't know if you know this, but the liver filters your blood every 6 minutes. So it is busy. It's constantly working to keep you balanced and detoxed. But we also are living in a time where we are surrounded by toxicity. We're surrounded by processed foods, by the fast food era, by the easy button, by microwaves. So if you will imagine with me your body as a rain barrel. So back in the day, if you remember people would catch rain in a rain barrel. And you really didn't pay too much attention to how much rain was getting in there until it started overflowing. And that's really what happens to our body. We build upon toxins in our body, and it really is the rain barrel effect. There's actually a book written by Dr. Stephen Cabral called The Rain Barrel Effect. And this is the whole point behind what we're going to talk about today is how can we keep our bodies from overflowing and just give that assistance to our liver that's trying desperately to keep us healthy. So, chronic issues, they don't happen overnight. This is all part of the rain barrel effect because what happens is once your rain barrel is full, It's going to overflow. So what happens is your body is too full of toxicity that your liver can't keep up anymore. And so that's when things start to happen. Chronic issues don't happen overnight. As I said before, we literally pile one thing on top of another and think that our body can keep up with it, or just think that, the foods we eat are healthy enough. And so that we're going to get all the supplements we need just from our foods. But really, if you think about it, we're like a tree, and the roots are what is going to dictate how healthy we are. And that's why in integrative health, we really dig into root cause of the symptoms that you're having. And we can go from type 2 diabetes, cancer, obesity, heart disease, any kind of autoimmune situation. We're talking rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, MS, fibromyalgia, arthritis. Any of those things are starting in the root of our tree. And then they're starting in the root. And then when you see the tree, all of a sudden you've got all of these diseases on the top. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're keeping the roots really super healthy. And, root cause is usually started by too much toxicity buildup in our bodies. And so, we want to make sure that we're assisting our body in getting rid of all that. We don't want those immune imbalances. We don't want our body to all of a sudden be fighting itself. We don't, there's too much toxic exposure. There's digestive issues. If you just ignore all these things, then your body's going to show up with a big symptom, and that's the disease. That's the fatigue, it's the weight gain, it's joint pain, skin issues, infertility, different cancers, different autoimmune diseases. Like, your body's not messing up. It's just giving you that signal that something is wrong, and your body's working really hard to address it, but it needs a little help. So you don't want to just slap a Band-Aid on all of these issues. You want to get to the root cause. And that's why we do functional lab testing. And I'm gonna throw different emails and websites out so throughout this whole podcast. So if you want more information, you can easily get a hold of me via support at Hello Your Health is Calling, or my website is symmetryhealthandwellness.com. And we can actually go over your symptoms, and I can match you up with different lab, and we can figure out what's actually going on. But getting back to issues, everybody, you hear people say, okay, well, my family has XYZ genetically. We are all diabetic, or we are all have Hashimoto's. It's like your genes pretty much predispose you to certain things, and they load the gun. What happens is your lifestyle and different things in the environment is going to what's actually pull the trigger on that. So that's why there's so many different manifestations of disease, because we're all very individual, and everyone has their own predisposition of a health issue. Especially when your toxic load becomes too great, because your body's not able to keep that predisposition at bay. And when the toxic load becomes too great, then we get the rheumatoid arthritis, and we get the digestive issues, and we get the Hashimoto's and the Crohn's and all these different things. And these diseases that I'm throwing out, they're just names of different expressions from the same malfunction in the body. And we just see them as different. So really what's happening is your body is not messing up. It's giving you a sign that something's going on, because it's desperately trying to rebalance itself. And, the symptom is just an outward expression of what's going on. And we don't want to suppress the symptoms again. We don't want to just go to our conventional doctor and have them, write a prescription for a drug that's chemically made, it's synthetic, there's nothing natural about it, and it's just really putting a Band-Aid on it that's going to lead to other symptoms. And then you're going to have to take another drug. So it's really a vicious circle. So getting to the bottom of it. So let's talk about how we can help our bodies, and that's really by detoxing. You know, there's over 77,000 man-made toxins in our environment. It's in our food, it's in our water, it's in our air, it's in our clothing, it's in our household items, it's in our laundry detergents, it's in our skin, our soap, our shampoo. It is everywhere. And I know this is like so doom and gloom, but it's really, there's a lot of good news at the end. So part of it is just knowing and understanding that this is our situation now. You know, we've gotten, 200 years ago, we didn't have these diseases. And we also ate whole food from the earth, and there was no such thing as processed foods. There was no such thing as a microwave. There was no such thing as a drive-through. So what's happened is over the course, I'm in my 60s, and I hear people my age all the time saying, "Oh, I grew up on hot dogs and bologna and eating dairy and all this stuff, and I'm fine." But the products from then, from 50 years ago, are not the same. It may have the same name on it, but I guarantee you the product is not the same. There's way more additives. There's way more toxicity in the foods that we're eating. So, our body can't keep up because our liver literally is working 24 hours a day. What happens with the toxins that the liver can't get rid of? This is where our situation with obesity is becoming so huge, especially in our nation, is because what happens is when your liver can't get rid of a certain toxin, then it will hide it in a fat cell because fat cells are very safe. And then what happens is the fat cells start to expand because they're filling up with water to protect you. So this is what happens when people all of a sudden start just gaining weight. It's because the body can't keep up anymore. And yes, there are situations where people just have completely abused their food and everything else. But a lot of times, people who have more fat on their bodies are literally just very toxic. So by detoxing and removing those fat cells is going to help, number one, you lose weight, and number two, get your body more balanced. So something else doesn't happen. You hear all the time when people start to gain weight that other things start to happen. Their blood pressure is higher. Their blood sugars are higher. All of a sudden, different things start to happen in their joints and stuff because there is just so much toxicity going on that other things are going to start manifesting because of obesity. And so we want to make sure that we keep our body just really, really detoxified. And, there's supplements you can take. You can take your B vitamins, you can take vitamin C, you can take antioxidants, you can take amino acids and minerals, but you can't get it from your food. One of the best ways that we can support our liver is to fast. And I think one of the biggest fallacies that's come along our so-called diet industry is this intermittent fasting concept of fasting for a certain amount of time and then eating whatever you want in that feeding window and thinking that that's going to do the same thing that just a 12-hour fast overnight is going to do. Because when you give your liver that break from digesting and doing all that stuff, it can do its detoxification process. So one of the things that I really recommend is to do a nightly 12-hour fast. So if you finish eating at 6:30 at night, then don't eat again until 6:30 in the morning. And you can even go a little bit beyond that, but you don't want to go more than 14 hours because unfortunately, we've been kind of sold the wrong idea. Unless you have a really chronic issue and you've been told by your medical professional that you need to fast for longer, but really between 12 and 14 hours is the max you want to do because otherwise you're going to start robbing Peter to pay Paul in your hormone production. and your cortisol and everything. So, after you finish eating dinner, drink water, drink herbal tea, and just start to allow your liver to go through its detoxification phases. It actually runs through 2 at night. That's why sleep is really important too. So then when do you eat? In your feeding window, if you want to call it that, but you do have 8 hours. So make sure that you are giving your body about 3.5 hours in between meals, because this is also, you need your body to have the time to digest and absorb all the nutrients. But if you're constantly snacking, and I know that there has been, again, in our diet world, eat every 2 hours, or make sure you just eat 6 small meals a day. But really, what you want to make sure you're doing is eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is the way our bodies are made. We're not made to eat all day long. Now, if you have blood sugar issues and things like that, you fall into a different category, and we can talk about that another time. But for mainstream, this is the way that we were meant to be. And then, what do you eat? You eat all whole food. If it grows on the ground, if it walks the earth as an animal, these are what are meant to be eaten. If you do eat meat, make sure that your fish is not farm raised. Make sure it's wild caught. Make sure that it's pasture raised. Make sure that it is organic. I could do a whole podcast, maybe I will, on the difference between all these different things. We're so confused about grass fed, grass finished, pasture raised, cage free. There's so many marketing tools out there for companies that make you think that something's healthy. So just using the rule of thumb, if it grows from the earth and you can buy organic, that is your best. If you eat meat, make sure it is not farmed, make sure it's wild caught, make sure that your chicken is organic and pasture raised, all these things. And that's just a good rule of thumb of what to eat. Don't make a diet of processed foods. It's these ultra processed foods that we've been lied to about, that they're healthy, that they're all natural. In order to process a food, you have to use very unnatural means. So when you start to look at labels and you start to see more than 5 ingredients, then that is going on to the ultra processed route, because the more ingredients, the more processed and the more synthetic, and it's really bad for you. If you're going to eat meat, eat meat. If you're going to eat vegetables, eat vegetables. Don't eat vegetables that were made to taste like meat. This is one of the biggest lies that we have been fed recently, is that you can make vegetables taste like meat and it's good for you. It's not. If you check the label, there's so many ingredients. Most of them are synthetic, poor quality. Just eat a vegetable, just eat meat. Very simple. What do you drink? You drink filtered water. You drink electrolytes. Make sure that they're good quality electrolytes. Again, email me at support at hello, your health is calling. um, get in touch with me and we can go over. I have vetted numerous different products that are really healthy for you. We drink a lot of water. I live in Arizona. We're constantly drinking water because it's so dry. But what's happening is we're not absorbing the water because there's no minerals in it. And so electrolytes are going to really help your body absorb the minerals that you need to absorb the water. It's, I talk to people all the time and they tend to get very overwhelmed and they tend to just throw up their hands and say, forget it, it's too hard. It's really not. There's people like me all over the place, and we're here to help. And it's really keeping it as simple as possible. That's why I say just eat whole food. Don't spend all your time in the grocery store reading labels if you don't have to. And if you are choosing some things that have more ingredients, then just educate yourself to what is good for you. and a chemical is not. If you can't pronounce it, it doesn't belong in your body. So so electrolytes are super important for the absorption of water. When people start drinking more water, they complain that they're going to the bathroom all the time. If after a few days of increasing your water intake, you are going to the bathroom all the time, that means you're not absorbing it. It means it's just running through you. So that's why electrolytes are really important. Your magnesium, your potassium, your calcium, your phosphorus, all those things, sodium, that helps your body absorb. Herbal teas, good organic herbal teas. Watch the labels. Tea has a lot of hidden things in the tea bags. There could be plastics, there could be synthetic things. So, good organic teas. Just don't, if you're doing the 12-hour fast, make sure that you're just drinking water or herbal tea after dinner. If you are a coffee person, caffeine has a lot of benefits, but if you're drinking coffee all day and you think that you're getting your water intake, then that's a fallacy as well. So you need to really watch your intake of what you're drinking. We no longer can just tell people to eat less and exercise more, and they'll be healthy. Um, Sadly, that is what's causing people to put themselves in more distress. So one of the fifth thing, I did the 12-hour fast, when to eat, what to drink. The fifth thing is rest and exercise, knowing when to rest, knowing when to exercise, knowing how your body responds. If you are under a serious amount of stress, you don't want to go hit the gym and do an hour of cardio. That's just putting additional stress on your body. So it's not fair to tell someone who is trying to lose weight or trying to get healthy that all they need to do is eat less and exercise more. So exercise is an extremely important component to our longevity, but you need to know where your body's at and what the type of exercise is that you need. So, the detox this is all detoxing 101, but in order to give our bodies the biggest break it needs is we need to give it the detox elements. We need to feed our bodies things that are going to help us detox. And it's not going, to Walgreens and buying something that's labeled detox tea. That's not going to do it. You need to have something that's on a functional level, that is activated multivitamins, that it's chelated. That's another term that you need to look for when you're looking at your labels. Minerals, you need electrolytes, you need methylated vitamins, because so many of us don't have that ability. So reading your labels is super important, but the functional medicine detox has all this in it. It's got all of the natural traditional Chinese medicine herbs. It's got all the Ayurvedic herbs. It's got your natural detoxifying vegetable powders in it. So you want to make sure that you're doing a detox a couple times a year. Like I said early in the podcast, we can't escape it. There are over 77,000 toxins in this earth. And babies are even born with like over 100 toxins in their umbilical cord blood. So we're born, behind the eight ball, so to speak. So detoxifying, watching what we're eating, watching what we're putting in our bodies is really going to be your biggest help in not getting symptoms of disease. And that's the whole point behind what I'm talking about today, is that we keep ahead of the curve of disease. And even if you are in a disease, if you figure out what the root cause of that is, then you can, put that disease into remission. Your body will fight against it. The symptoms you're having is just your body letting you know that you're not balanced. And so by keeping your body detoxified, you're going to stay ahead of it. But if you are in that disease, then let's figure out what the root cause of that is. And let's figure out what we need to rebalance, what you have excesses of, if you've got heavy metals, if you've got too much toxins, and that is through all of our functional medicine lab testing. But I hope that I haven't confused you too much. If you have questions, if you need any more information, an email to support at Hello Your Health is Calling is the best way to get a hold of me. You can also go to my website, symmetryhealthandwellness.com. I'm active on Instagram and Facebook. Send me a direct message. But literally, we can walk through a lot of different steps that are going to help you detoxify your body and help you get into a more balanced state so that you can, live a healthy, happy life. The show is called Hello, Your Health is Calling because we ignore the call many, many times. And that is my goal in the information that I give to you, is that you'll start listening and answering when you've got some symptoms, and start answering your body when it's telling you that there's something amiss. And it's sometimes an easy fix, and sometimes it takes time. Some people I'm working with for 6 months to a year. So you didn't get where you are overnight, and it takes a little bit of time to get out of it. So thank you for listening, watching. If you are on YouTube, then like and follow. That helps me. It helps our network. The Reinvented Life Network is an up and coming network of just people who want to bring forth information to help you with your life. And that's it. So thanks for watching. I will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health, and remember, your health is calling.